Hey, welcome to my channel. Well, this is part 2 of searching for a drone for Nelson. We did a video already where we reviewed every DJI drone, and Nelson was able to fly them all, except for the Inspire, and he gave his thoughts and impressions. And if you haven't seen that video, there's a link below this video to that video. And this video is all about non-DJI drones. So we're going to take a look at drones that are not made by DJI, but are very popular and very appropriate for using on a ship that is sailing in the water, and see if Nelson would like one of those. Now, in this video, just like the last one, I'm going to show these drones to Nelson. He's going to see them for the very first time. He's never seen these drones before, so he's going to give his impression of just looking at the drone and ask some questions. And in this video, I'm going to cut in segments where Nelson actually gets a chance to fly the drones, and you'll see that and see his impressions of actually flying them. The first drone we're going to take a look at is the Parrot Anafi. Let me just put it out here. This Parrot Anafi came out in July of 2018 on the market. It's a really cool drone. It's very popular. An awful lot of people have bought these. It's very light. It has a range, it's a Wi-Fi range of about 2.5 miles. So for you on a sailing ship, it's perfectly fine. It has a 4K camera. It is one of the only drones on the market that the camera can look straight up and straight down. Mm-hmm. So you could literally fly lower than your ship looking up. Oh, honestly, you would get some pretty cool videos. It's also one of the only drones on the market that when you go into follow me mode, it will follow you at like 1 or 2 inches above the ground if you want. So it can look up at you and give you those really cool cinematic perspectives. It's got a ton of autonomous flight modes. They really went to town with the autonomous flight modes. The only thing it doesn't have is it doesn't have obstacle avoidance.
At all?
At all. So,
okay. So this is a fly.
Yeah, you have to pay attention to where it's flying. Since it has not a 3-axis gimbal, it has a 2-axis gimbal on the camera. It handles quite well. Your video image looks extremely stable. So with the 2-axis gimbal, it's sort of like when we looked at the Spark. The Spark has a 2-axis gimbal.
Yeah. So you've got movement this way.
Yeah, and the side to side.
Side to side, but this way is done electronically?
That's right. Okay. Exactly. So whenever you're sweeping side to side, there's an electronic image stabilization. But Parrot has done it so well. They've got great technology that you don't even notice. It has return to home and all the other great things. It has sensors on the bottom here. I'll show Nelson. You can see right there. Yep. So it knows how high it is, and it stays very stable. You could fly it indoors if you wanted to. It's good.
Is that used for landing as well, or is that? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's ultrasonic. It has the tiniest of props, so that tells you already about how powerful it is in the wind. Bigger props are better. It has tiny motors, so it has tiny props. It's very, very quiet. It's a pretty decent drone, and it folds up like that. I'll let you take a look at that, and then I'll show you the controller.
So it just pulls straight out, or do I have to?
Yeah, pull them straight out.
Any order, or
doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
It should look like sort of like a dragonfly when it's all out.
It's very light. Wow.
Next to no weight, and that is with the battery. Speaking of the batteries are here. I'll put one over here. The batteries do not require a separate charging unit that you plug in the wall. It's just a USB on the back, and so you can be on vacation, just plug a USB. The only downside with that is that they take longer to charge. But the batteries are not too bad, because you get about, I think it's 25 minutes flight time on this. Here, you can have a look at the battery too.
Wow, that's light. I like the simplicity of the deployment compared to the flop.
Yeah.
So props are interesting. They're very lightweight. They're almost dragonfly-like.
Yeah.
I do notice a nick on this one, Steve.
Yes, I crashed it. So everybody who wonders if I crash drones, yes, I do. I crashed this one.
It's a very small nick, but it's a nick. I just had to point that out.
The other thing I should mention is this is the only camera on the market that I have seen myself personally in a drone that has a zoom function.
Oh, really?
That, not an optical zoom like we saw.
So it's a digital.
It's a digital zoom, but it's a lossless digital. So in other words, they're not using the full sensor, even though it's a 4K drone. So when you zoom in, they zoom in to use the full sensor. Your zoom image looks almost like an optical zoom because there's no loss. It's not pixelated or anything. It is so clear. It's really well done. So hats off to Parrot. They made a really good drone. This is one I recommend to an awful lot of people because the price is pretty decent. The price is...
Don't touch buttons.
All right, Nelson has powered on the drone here. All right,
I meant to try and take the battery
so
off.
now we'll see if this is going to fly away. Anyways, just leave it on. Okay. So you can hear the fan going. I don't know. Here, I'll show you. There's a fan. I'll bring it up to the mic. You hear that? All drones have a fan. That's the processor that's inside. So here, let me shut it off because that is getting kind of loud.
I wanted to look in and see where's it. I don't see any slots for memory cards. Or
Memory card is underneath the battery.
So I press this button to take it off then, or that button? How do I get the battery off?
You would press this button. I'm not going to allow you to do it because you've already turned it on accidentally. So
Okay. So
don't even touch this anymore.
So does it have onboard memory, or do I need to put a card in?
You put a card in it.
Okay.
The card slot, you've probably seen in my very first video I reviewed of this. It's very fragile. So what I've done is
Is it a pop-in, like on a?
No, it's a silly kind of card slot. It's like
Was it like the old phone ones with the hatch door?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's exactly what it's like. Yeah.
Okay,
So you put the card in.
They're finicky.
Oh, they're useless.
Yeah.
So you put the card in, like as I have done, and you never take it out again. You can get this for less than $6.99. It goes on sale every now and then, more often than the DJI drone does. So if you look around, you'll see they'll probably have a sale again. I've seen this for as low as $4.99 US. Have a look at that.
Ooh, heavy.
It is a heavy controller. I'll just move this guy.
Is it all battery?
There's weights in it plus a battery, and when you open it, it turns on.
Why would there be weights in it?
It's to counterbalance your phone.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, that's a good
So
idea.
when you open it up,
Oh, so that turns it on?
yeah, that's your antenna. Your antenna's back here.
Okay, so that's the equivalent with the DJI ones with the things that pop up.
Yeah.
So there's no adjustment of this antenna. It's okay.
And I do find the antenna becomes more directional the farther the drone gets away.
Yeah.
You will get glitchiness in your video, and you have to move that antenna.
And again, this is Wi-Fi controlled.
Wi-Fi.
I would say the knobs are the spring return pressure and control fidelity about the same as the Spark.
Yeah.
That must be takeoff and landing, I'm assuming.
Take off and land right there.
That is home.
Yeah. Nelson's pointing down here, so this bottom one would be take off and land. That is your home button. Return to home. And on the front, so this side with the magnifying glass is your zoom.
Yeah.
Zoom in and out. And on this side here would just be your camera up and down.
Okay.
And then you have your normal buttons right here for video, photo.
And so, how does the phone connect? Oh, just right there.
Yeah.
So standard.
You have to connect your phone with a cable that it comes with, and this here expands for the size of your phone.
And what will that take in terms of a size of a unit? Like I just use a cell phone.
A very large phone. Like mine, I'm using a Samsung Galaxy Note 8, which is a very large phone, and it fits in there no problem.
And so if somebody wanted to use an iPad mini, not big enough?
You need an adapter, and I've done a video on the adapter to use an iPad mini with this.
So there's some sort of aftermarket type thing. And it's got batteries that you recharge, or it's got batteries you put in?
It's a USB-C, just like this, like these batteries here. So basically, you charge up your battery, and you charge up your controller.
I got to admit, the Anafi, just at the first look, the flight time is long for relative to the Air. It's got some upgraded features that kind of push the Mavic. The engines initially took me up, but I sure like the blades. The blades, to me, being an aeronautics kind of guy, the blades say quiet. Right?
It's very quiet. You wouldn't hear. You would not even hear this on your boat.
Yeah.
The wind around you would be silent.
And the ability to literally go snap, snap.
Yeah, that's it. It's put away.
And tuck it away in a cockpit thing. That's good. So this one's quite interesting. I mean, I'd like some obstacle avoidance maybe, but to be quite honest, on the boat, I'm going to have to turn them all off anyways.
All right, we have the Anafi behind me, and over here we have Nelson ready to fly his first drone. Here we go. So Nelson, on your controller, see that down below you have a huge picture of a house, and then you have an up arrow.
So up arrow.
Yes, there you are. Okay, let it go up, just stand back, and
that's both start and takeoff.
That is start and takeoff and land.
Okay, very quiet.
Take it up about, I don't know, maybe 20 meters. There we go. Yeah, that's the flying area for all drones over there.
It's faster in terms of its response to the control than the DJI. It might be because it's so light.
All right, so do you see us in the center of the picture?
Pretty close.
Now use your right side paddle and zoom into us. There you go. That's as far as you can zoom.
Yeah.
But that's a lossless zoom. And you can zoom all the way. And let's walk forward and go stand over it. The only drone, I'm looking over it. And,
it actually goes all the way to 90 degrees.
So that's what's really impressive with this drone.
So what would you use that for?
Artistic filming, cinematographic.
Like under bridges or into caves or...
Some people say they use it for inspection, but I would use it myself personally. I just fly under trees, fly under objects, or I have it follow me low to the ground like that.
Yeah.
And it gives a really cool view because not very many drones can follow you that low. You don't want to. And it shuts off and it stops recording automatically.
Automatically.
So, your thoughts on that one, Nelson?
It very quiet. Number one thing, very quiet. Bounces around a lot in the wind, but you would expect that because it's so light. I would, from a choice perspective, this beats the Air. Just from
Beats the Mavic Air?
It beat the Air.
For your needs?
For my needs. Yeah. So if I was having a choice, you got two of them and the price was the same, I would take this one. I think the price on the Parrot is probably cheaper than the Air. Yeah. And the other thing I like about the Parrot, it's got a really long battery time for its price point. The size of it for what I want is perfect, right? It literally folds up into almost a hot dog type shape. You could throw it in. So I will admit the Parrot over the Air easily.
All right, so you've seen the Parrot Anafi. It's pretty light. You like it.
Yep.
Seem to like it. And you've seen Nelson fly it. Hopefully he didn't crash it. We don't know because this is still, we're still doing this part.
If you see this video, it probably didn't crash.
Now we're going to move on to the opposite of the Parrot Anafi, which is this beast here, which is called the Yuneec Typhoon H. This is a foldable drone that came out in 2016. I bought it. I think I was the first guy in Canada to get one of these, and probably the first guy in Canada to totally destroy one of these.
It looks pretty good for having been destroyed.
Yeah, it's been fixed, and Yuneec customer service back in 2016 was awesome, and they gave me a refurbished one because I totally destroyed mine. But anyways, I really like this drone. Right now you can get this drone for $7.99 US.
So in the same range as the Air.
Yeah, it's the same as the Mavic Air price range.
Yeah.
But you get a lot more for $7.99 US for this than you do for like a Mavic Air.
You certainly get
it's a lot of
2 more motors.
Yeah, so it's a hexacopter. It's got foldable arms, so they go up like this. You'll hear a click.
You know what comes to mind is Lionel Hutz saying, "I for one welcome our robot overlords."
Look at the camera. I can spin it around as much as I want. And it's a 4K camera. It works. These legs are retractable. As soon as you get up in the air, you flick a switch.
Oh, really? It's got landing gear?
It's got landing gear.
Oh, it wins. If it's got a landing gear switch, I want
it. I will say, out of all the drones, when I go fly the Typhoon H, it gets the most comments, compliments of any other drone. It can even follow you as a follow me mode that can go follow you at 70 kilometers an hour. It's extremely fast. Your sailboat won't go that fast.
No.
Really?
well, if I'm towing it with my car.
The batteries are massive. Oh, lift it.
It's not as heavy as I thought it was going to be.
Oh, I find it pretty heavy.
I'm gonna guess it's about 3 kilograms, 2.5 kilograms.
It's about 2 kilograms. The weight mostly comes from the battery.
Okay. The battery's back here.
The claim to fame on a hexacopter. If you're new to drones, you probably don't know this, but if you've been flying drones for a long time, the claim to fame on a hexacopters all fly well in windy conditions. It can be gusty wind, it can be any kind of wind. They fly well because they have 6 props.
I was going to say they've got 6 controllers always adjusting, right? Yeah, so you get more finite control.
It is. Camera's really good. It's a stable camera. It is 2016 technology for the camera. So it is 4K, 30 frames per second. It will give you a decent image. The claim to fame also on this hexacopter is that one motor can die, you can break a prop. There's tons of videos online of people smashing props, hitting trees. It will fly on 5 motors.
So it will fly on 5.
Silly me, I actually took off once, talking to somebody as we're doing now, not paying attention, as you've seen me do here many times already in the last hour, and I forgot to put a prop on, and I take off with 5 props. I'm flying, I'm going, man, that thing's flying a little bit different.
So you've admitted today that you hit stuff.
Yes.
You've almost destroyed this one, and you take off
I have destroyed
props.
this one. Killing the gimbal. It's a huge battery. There you go.
The fact that Steve was grunting while lifting it indicates that it is sizable. Now, how long do you go flying with it?
22 minutes of flight time on a really, really, really good day.
What are the little things in the front here? Are they headlights?
No, I can't get it in the camera down here. Let me see. I'll turn it upside down. There we go. So this is what Nelson's talking about, these little headlights here. These are sonar. If you turn it on and you fly very, very slow, it will not crash into things. So forward. You can add an obstacle avoidance unit on it. It's called RealSense.
So it's like an after or an accessory you would add?
Yeah, it's an accessory. You can either buy it with the RealSense module or you can add it after. It's cheaper to buy it with. But if you add it after, it goes on, and that sucks more power.
It's a plug and play thing. It's not you're not soldering things in.
Oh, no, it's plug and play. Here's the props, Nelson. See if you can put 1 or 2 on. You have white and black, and the props will match. They are just...
I think that's what you're telling me right there, right?
Spin it a direction.
Yep,
right,
clicks.
There you go.
And you get them off, same thing?
Yeah. Now, take a look at the controller.
Holy! I didn't realize we were getting a 4K smart TV.
So the controller itself comes with a 7-inch touch screen high resolution display. So when you buy this Typhoon H, Nelson, for your ship, if you do, You need not buy anything else. You have everything. So let me show you how amazing this controller is. There's a million switches. It's like the olden days of RC when you bought your remote control. It's got switches for everything because it's a 16 channel. So each switch can be assigned to a channel.
Yeah.
And do something that you want. It's got a carry handle, carry it around because it's so big.
And it's got a battery box.
Got a battery. You can replace the battery in it. You have switches on the back here, which that's your camera right here to go up and down. I don't know if you can see that. I'll just move that this way. That's your camera right here, up and down. When you fly drones, you have joysticks.
Yeah.
And you know, if you move it just a little bit, the drone does something. You move it a lot more, it does something else. So when you play with this little... Where's my little button there? This little thing down here, this little turtle in the hair thing. When you put on turtle mode, it makes it so that you have to move these really far.
Changes the gain on the amplifier, so it's kind of a sensitivity measure.
Yeah. And
so you won't go and find it.
Yeah. So for beginners, even when you take off, if you take off from the ground and you have it on the turtle mode, it will just take off from the ground very slowly. It has a bunch of other features. If you look here, it's like playing your little Nintendo Super Mario here. See these? It's got D-pad controllers too. You can actually fly it with these and go forward, and it will fly forward at the speed I go. And if I go faster, you know, I'm hitting the wrong one. I don't know which one's forward anymore. Yeah. But that's it. Then you get your filming and your photo mode. And so I'll leave that on, and I'll turn this on. Makes a cool sound. You get a lot of lights. I've taken the props off because knowing Nelson and I will probably spin it and chop our eyes out.
Very nice display.
See the camera? Look at it as I move it.
Yeah, the camera gimbal is already
tracking. It doesn't, it tracks. To spin this actually 360, you have a dial.
Yeah.
Turn it to the right, any amount you want, and you control how quickly that it's going to track.
Gotcha. So it's a speed control.
Yeah. And you can leave it going while you're filming. So you could have it spinning around and you can move the camera up and down. It's one of the few drones on the market that if you had another one of these ST16s, you could have someone flying with the camera and you could fly.
Oh, really?
You could just use the actual flying the drone.
You just have to pair them somehow.
That's it. Yeah. Okay. It doesn't have as many features as a DJI drone. It's pretty basic. It doesn't have all those great autonomous flight modes and things like that. It has some, but very few.
Very few.
You know, it's 2016. It's Yuneec. The batteries are not smart batteries, so they don't discharge.
Control system is Wi-Fi, or it's
Wi-Fi. It has a range of 1 mile, so 1.6 kilometers. This is one of those drones too. You can turn the GPS and fly it with the GPS off if you want.
I like the look. I will admit, if of all the drones we looked at, if I walked past a DJI Mavic Pro or a Pro 2 or this one, I'd go walk and look at this one. Catchability, I mean, it's just...
Catchability, super easy.
Good, right? I like that you can get rid of the gear. I love the full gimbal. Price-wise, though, I mean, wow.
If you took a drone and then you added the price of adding a cell phone for your display or a tablet, you know, you're adding quite a lot of money to the price of that drone already. Whereas this, it's all in one.
It's all in one. I do love the screen. The quality of the screen is brilliant. This one, I would take over the Phantom.
See, another one sold.
This one, maybe the undercarriage. I don't know.
Yeah. But he hasn't flown it yet. But when you do fly it, you're going to be pretty impressed.
But from a swagger perspective and from a price point and trade-off, I will admit, I thought this would be a write-off. This one is a contender.
This is 2016 technology, Typhoon H. I would never buy this with the real sense. I would jump up to the Typhoon H Pro Plus. So just like we have a Phantom 4 Pro Plus.
Extra special Mark II.
Yes. In 2018, they came out with the Typhoon H Pro Plus, which is the same drone, beefier. So beefier motors, beefier body. So it's a beefier drone. Way better features. Looks like the same controller, but different technology inside. Looks like the same drone, just beefier, but different technology inside, different software, different firmware. Camera is a 1-inch sensor on that, just like the Phantom 4 Pro, so you're getting a top-notch camera on the Pro Plus. So if you thought this drone was cool, which you would, not having a drone, and if you flew it and looked at the images and everything, you'll think it's amazing. Well, the Pro Plus is basically, make everything much better.
Gotcha.
So there's people that have bought it. It is very expensive though. The Pro Plus is it's over $1,500 US.
Yeah. So that takes it off my list right there. But
it's twice the price of this one. But is it twice the drone? I'd say it's for the professional. It's twice the drone. For the average user, it's not twice the drone because they don't even notice a difference.
Yeah.
This is the front. That's the back.
Yeah.
Powered on. Hold the button down so you hear that weird sound. Okay, let go. There's a red button. You'd hold it in until they start.
Okay.
And then you're going to grab your left joystick and just hold that all the way up until it's up, I don't know, 10 feet.
Okay, and 10 feet?
Yeah, 10 feet's good. So hold the red button in, then let go as soon as they start. And now the left joystick all the way up 10 feet. There you go, my man. And now do your landing gear. You're going up.
Very cool.
Nelson likes the landing gear. There you go, you can take it up quite a ways and fly it the same pattern as the last one. Now use the dial to spin your camera and have it spin around 360. You can make it go pretty quick if you want.
So the camera is completely independent of the direction of the drone.
Oh my God, yes. You can fly it back to us with that still spinning and doing stuff, and you'll get some pretty cool footage.
So unlike the other drones where you would position the drone heading by the camera, here you got to be careful that you don't assume the camera is
it forward, exactly.
Camera's looking at us.
Yeah.
But I haven't figured out, I haven't looked at the drone.
Yeah, you're lost which way to fly. So move your joysticks and watch what happens. It's just gonna go.
Yeah.
That's not where I want to go.
Yeah. Okay. So.
Yeah.
This is one of those ones there must be a way to bring it back. There must be a headless mode that
says
on
your screen. It's pretty hard to show you today, but there's a little green thing on your screen, and it always points to where you are. If you look at your screen,
I see it. Yeah,
do you see it?
Yep.
Nope. Now you've hit the D-pads.
Yeah, don't hit the D-pad. So that little green thing right there.
Yeah. So now, if you wanted to have the camera face the same direction that you're flying, it's this switch right here. Just flick it forward, and that's the direction.
So now, if I press forward,
it should
forward. The landing gear down.
There you go, and bring her on down. All it is left joystick, just bring it low to the ground, and then hold the left joystick all the way down when it touches ground. It's got a lot of wind, so you're going to blow away your landing pad. Are you impressed? What do you think about a Typhoon H?
Absolutely impractical for my needs, but I love it. The only thing I noted is, first of all, very powerful. Took off. Controllability was fine. You notice that the different center of gravity set up with it, because with the mass of the camera low, I noticed you really got a sense of when it braked, you could see the energy moving up. So it doesn't appear as stable in the air. I don't know if that's a function of 6 rotors or 4. But it's also much bigger, so it's got much more inertia. So any movement does show up. That being said, I love the undercarriage. There's no doubt. I just think that's cool. One of the biggest things for me is, I know guys don't like complexity. They want to make it easy to fly. I'm the exact opposite. I want more switches and buttons to play with. All kinds of things that just excite me. Like
it's pretty good.
And I will admit, it's the only drone that I'm flying that disconnects the camera from the flight, which I find quite exciting, to the point where it gives you that second controller to say, here, you come fly the drone and I'll do this. So despite the fact it makes none of my requirements, this is the one I like the most. All
right, we're on to the next drone, and once again you saw the video footage of Nelson flying the Typhoon H. Hopefully that went well, and he's still as excited about the Typhoon H as he is as he was in this video before he flew it. All right, so the next one I'm going to show you, Nelson is not going to fly this one, and I'm going to explain why. This here is called the Mantis Q. This came out in 2018. It's by Yuneec, same company that made the Typhoon H.
Okay.
Myself personally, I like the drone, the way it flies. It's got a sport mode that's massively fast. The battery's pretty decent too. It's got a nice little battery here that comes off. It's not a smart battery, again. That's how they cut costs. Everything's very inexpensive.
So if it's not a smart battery, how do you know whether you've got if your batteries are good when you go flying?
You actually have to power it on all the time and look at your controller on the app. It tells you how much power is left.
So will the app say you're at 99%, or does it give you
Some of them will give you a percentage, and some will give you a voltage. Here's the controller, very tiny. It's exactly the same as the Parrot Anafi. You open it up.
It is tiny.
Yeah, it turns on. It's got the tiniest of little antennas. It's a good drone, but not for Nelson. And Nelson, the reason it's not for you is because of this. If I turn it around, look at the camera. There is no gimbal. It's electronic image stabilization. It can do 4K 30, but at 4K 30, there's no electronic image stabilization.
So there's no gimbal at all?
No gimbal, and at 4K, which you want to film in, it's useless. There is no 4K stabilization. Gotcha. So the slightest movement's in wind, and if anybody's ever been on a sailboat, how fast do they move when there's no wind?
There's no wind? Well, 0.
0. If he's out on his boat sailing, there's probably wind.
Yeah.
So if there's wind, this is no good.
So I can adjust this, but if it's fighting the wind, I'm going to give you skewed image stabilization in all axes, or just one?
all axes when it's in 1080p. So if the wind is blowing this and it's sideways and it's doing electronic image stabilization, your image then goes stable, but sideways kind of.
Yeah, okay. It looks well built too. I will admit it. Its first impression is, that's pretty good.
Yeah, and it has features like DJI. Like it has active track that actually works really well. Everything's really good on it. So anybody looking at buying this, it retails for like $4.99, but you can buy it online for like $4.49. I think the price for this should be $3.99. I think it was a little bit overpriced. It has sensors on the bottom.
Yeah.
Like I said, everything's great about it. Records to a micro SD.
Yeah, which is on the side here.
Yeah, except for that camera. If there's no wind, it's not too bad. So, with that said, let's move on to the next drone. All right, Nelson, it's Halloween. The next one is the Autel Evo. Now, this is the drone I personally think, I know you like the Typhoon H. I know you like the Mavic Platinum. I know you like the Mavic 2 Pro or the Mavic 2 Zoom, but I think you're really going to want to consider this because of the price and for what you get. There's something I'm going to show you about this that you're going to go, holy crap. Okay, you ready? Here we go. Let me just start off with this. So this is the Autel Evo. I've got the little gimbal guard on down there. I'll take it off. Here's the camera flopping around. Don't worry about that. I have smashed this thing many times.
As in 30 seconds ago, you dropped it.
That's right. Yeah, off camera, I dropped this drone right out of my hands. Anyways, back to the drone. Just stick with that. It's a 4K camera. It has 60 frames per second at 100 megabits. It doesn't have a big 1-inch sensor, but for what it does have, it does really well. And even in low light, it's not too bad. It's for video, it's a really good camera. Due to the chipset in it, it's got a really good dynamic range. So if you are sailing and you're filming the beautiful sunsets and stuff like that, it will look outstanding on this camera. It really brings out a lot of the highlights. On the bottom here, you can see a host of sensors on the bottom. It has sensors in the front for obstacle avoidance. It has the worst obstacle avoidance in the back because it's one of those obstacle avoidance as having your wife drive with you. So in other words, say you're about to crash into something, they'll just tell you that you're about to crash into something, but they won't stop you. So in other words...
it's a warning system.
It's a warning system. It won't stop the drone unless you're in follow me mode. Flight time's really good. It's almost like 30 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a long flight time. The batteries are not expensive at all. So overall it's good. And they're smart batteries as well. You can turn them around. Here, I'll show you. There's a little button there. It shows you the battery percentage.
And flight modes equivalent? Like, does it have all the zoomies and the panoramas and the, all that kind of stuff?
It does not. So,
okay.
Where DJI is king, in my opinion, DJI is not so much king in the drones they make, but in the software, the firmware. They have a lot of smart technicians that can really do a lot of stuff with the drone itself. So that's why DJI drones are so amazing when they fly. They have all these modes you can do and whatever.
So does this have any modes?
It's got a few, but not much. It's got like an orbit mode.
Okay.
And it does have waypoints. You can sit at home and program waypoints, and then when you go fly, you say, call up that file and do the waypoints.
It flies it, okay.
It doesn't have too much else other than that.
Dynamic follow me.
It's got follow me mode, which is the one that most people would use on something like this. It's active track. You put a box around yourself and you walk, and just like like what you saw with the DJI drones.
Okay.
Same idea. It has obstacle avoidance too when you're doing that. So if you walk behind something, it will go around it. It's not smart like the Mavic 2 Pro or the Mavic 2 Zoom, where it will go round, but it won't. It's not smart enough to go under and over. It's just around is all it can do.
Okay.
At the same height. It doesn't have the ability like DJI drones that if you have it following you and you walk up a hill or down a hill, it follows you up and down. It will just walk. It will fly into the hill. It can do 7 kilometers.
Wow.
It's been really good. I've flown this thing behind hills, behind trees, behind buildings, and I've lost no reception. Better flight time than the Mavic Pro.
Like
but not much.
Mavic Pro is 26, 27.
Maybe a minute. It's advertised as better, but in reality, maybe a minute better.
Because on the boat, I want enough time to be able to come back and take 4 or 5 approaches to land.
It's like Elon Musk made this thing because they have funny little things. So when you want to go really fast on your controller, it's called ludicrous mode, like in the old Spaceballs, the movie.
Yeah.
Written kind of funny, though.
Yeah.
All right, so here's why I think Nelson's going to love this. So this is the controller right here. Let me just turn it on. You're going to hear the fan. It's got a fan in it. Does it ever go on?
It's whining already.
It's a whiny fan. I think mine is... There we go. Now it shut up. All right, so the cool thing about this, besides being a typical controller, the arms pop out here. Nice color screen. Unlike the Mavic, this has a color display.
Yeah.
You ready for this, Nelson?
Yeah.
You don't need a phone. You don't need anything.
Oh, it's all on here.
It's all in there. You can take this on your boat, not even put your phone on. That is it. You can fly it with this display.
So you get a camera display integrate, if you will. It's the baby Crystal Sky, or it's like the Yuneec. It's all in one.
It's not a Crystal Sky.
No.
Yeah,
sure.
It's not that good, but it's surprisingly pretty good.
Is it bright enough?
Yes, I was skeptic about this because the amount of nits this has compared to like a Crystal Sky is pretty low. And I was like, that's not going to shine outside. Well, I've flown this out in sunny weather, and I can see that display. It's pretty good. It's just pretty small, and a guy like me that wears glasses, it's like, I got to bring it close to my face. But for times that I wanted to get out flying this thing,
So it's less things to hook up. So very similar to the DJI interface in terms of the buttons and the rollers. Mm-hmm. It looks like takeoff and landing is all one button, so it must know where it is.
Yeah.
Is that shut off?
Pause, just like
that's the pause
just like
button.
You saw with the DJI drones. Nelson, here, just show what he's showing here. So he's showing the pause button here. There's the takeoff and land is over here. That's the return to home. And then on the front, you have 2 dials right here. That's your gimbal on this side. I think that's your auto exposure. You have a display button here. That's if you're just using this. You want to go from the display to the actual interface to choose settings. Like I want to change to 30 frames per second, the camera, change some other settings. You hit your display button. Move, and you can use this button to move around through the display.
And these are just handles down below?
Just handles. They do nothing. If you use a phone, you get more features.
Oh, okay.
Because they can't put all the features in that tiny little screen.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, so it's not a full function screen. It's a get by screen.
That's right, and it's got buttons on the back, which are really annoying because I accidentally hit them a lot of times. Where are they? There you go. They make little noises, and they do squat for me because I don't have them programmed to do anything.
Okay. Price point on this one?
Are you ready for this?
Yes.
Take a guess. How much do you think this costs?
I know nothing about this one. I'm going to say $7.99.
Well, you know nothing about this. That is not right. It's $9.99.
Okay. Maybe the $7.99 was hopeful.
Yeah, I think it was hopeful. So the great thing about this is for $7.99, you get 1 battery, you get the drone, you get this little baby, and you get nothing else. You get a little cable to hook up to your phone. But if you pay an extra $100 US, you'll get an extra 2 batteries. You'll get a case.
That's
like
good.
a soft case. Yes, and so spare props. So Nelson, when I get you to fly this one, because I think you will not require a phone or a display down here, you're going to be able to fly it off your ship because you've got to sail your ship and then have this going. You don't have time to play around with things. I could be wrong, but so that's it for the Evo. Final thoughts before we get out to fly?
Very impressed. I will admit I didn't know anything about the Evo other than I'd seen a couple pictures and a bunch of people had commented on it. I didn't have an expectation that it would be a contender, and it is certainly of the 3 we've looked at today. If I had to make a call, this one is the one I would go for. I would say it falls right. It's a bit of a trade-off on the DJI line between the Pro Platinum and the Pro 2 and this one. And so, this one's a contender. If it flies well, it'll be on the list.
We get the Autel Evo, and Nelson has the controller. So what I'm going to do for this flight here, is we're going to fly the Evo without using my cell phone. We're just going to use the controller because that's the cool thing. The display's on the controller. You don't get all the features as you would if you use the cell phone. Then you have the app and all the cool features. Very basic with just the controller and flying, but that's what I want to show Nelson because on a ship I'm assuming that he's just going to want to throw something up in the air, and this might be just what he wants. So that's what we're going to test out now. On the front here, there's a button right there, display. Push that button. You should see what we see.
Yep.
Now pull them both in, joysticks. You've started up and straight up. Take it up like that.
The controller interface is really clean. Like it's easy to read, big numbers, not cluttered. Brightness again for the end of the day is probably it's good enough.
So what do you think with that little tiny screen?
It's all right.
Like it's basic info, so if you just wanted to get up and fly, you can't do all the little follow me's and all the other things because you need the app for that. But
it's got kind of a funky early Nintendo feel to it.
Does say.
Like but it comes to the hand well, and you know what? If you weren't shooting a movie, it's one of the things I really don't like is having to set up my phone all the time, and then it times out. I forget to set the stuff, so this would be a nice feature.
All right, so bring it on back, and
really fast turn on it, like really fast, like nausea-inducing turns. It feels like a Pro, like it feels like a DJI Pro. Very.
It's modeled exactly after that drone, so it will move and fly just like it. should not be able to fly into us. It should stop. Even without the app, it should work.
There you go.
I was getting kind of worried, Nelson. I was like, I'm sure it works without the app.
And then the landing sequence, same as the...
Pull it straight down. Left choice. There you go. Final thoughts on the Autel Evo as a guy who wants to fly a drone from a ship.
Very positive. I would say it falls clearly into the Mavic Pro range. It feels more substantial than the Pro. It feels closer to the Mavic 2 in terms of its thing. I think maybe it was bullied because of its color when it was a kid, and so it's tougher. It looks like it could take a punch in a bar fight better than the Mavic Pro. Camera-wise, from what I could tell, was good. The controls are really nice, very stable, quiet. So if I had to choose today a new Pro versus a new Autel Evo, I think the Autel Evo would win. If you're going for used, I don't think you're going to find many used Autel Evos around.
Very few.
So, you know, it comes down to what risk you take on the price, but it's a winner. I really like it.
All right, so we're at the end of the video now, and Nelson, in the order of, for your needs, best that you would get, and down to least liked drone for your needs.
For my needs, without doubt, the Autel Evo won today.
Autel Evo?
By far.
Okay.
Love the Parrot. If I had different needs, I'd go for the Parrot.
Yeah.
I like the size. I like the quietness of it. I love the range of it, and it flew really well. I would buy it over a DJI equivalent. And then the Typhoon doesn't meet any of my needs, but I never said have fun.
Yeah.
And the Typhoon to me has all kinds of fun built into it, with the ability to meet other things, like it's complex and there's lots of things to do, and it's got a nice camera and all kinds of stuff. So the Typhoon doesn't meet my needs at all, but it's the one I like the best.
You haven't lived until you've flown a Typhoon H. So all you guys that are flying DJI drones out there, go pick yourself up a Typhoon H, because you'll see it's a different world. Yeah. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm going to put links below to where all these drones are. We've already done a video before of all the DJI drones, and if you haven't seen that, Nelson went through all the DJI drones and picked out his top from those ones. So we've covered pretty much the entire gamut of every drone that is on the market that is considered really good for a consumer. I mean, like top-notch good for consumers. So if you're looking at buying a drone, this video should have helped a little bit, and if not, then check out the DJI video we did, and that should help you too. All right, guys, give this a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and we'll catch you in the next video.